If you love liberty, declare your independence by signing the Shire Society Declaration at shiresociety.com.
And the first name, right? So
yes. Yeah.
Okay, so that part I got right.
Yes.
Okay, so the first task is to elect a chairperson.
I nominate Representative John Hunt.
No.
I second. Do I hear a second? Second.
Oh, yeah.
Second. I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no.
You're stuck.
Okay, so theoretically, we passed a pretty dramatic piece of legislation in having the banking department change its status with this technology. So I guess I'd like to start from hearing from the banking department and seeing, what's the repercussions and
Well, good afternoon.
and how everything's been going.
Sure, good afternoon. Hope all is well. Well, since we last met, there was a bill that was signed into law. It added an exemption in the exemption section of 399G, RSA 399G. However, the exemption is not absolute. So I'm just going to read what we placed on our website.
Okay.
With Governor Sununu's signing of House Bill 436 into law, New Hampshire Banking Department will no longer license or supervise money transmitters, quote, who engage in the business of selling or issuing payment instruments or stored value solely, emphasis added, in the form of convertible virtual currency or receive convertible virtual currency for transmission to another location, end quote. This change is effective on August 1, 2017. Bitcoin is one well-known example of convertible virtual currency. Note the emphasized language above. Money transmitters who conduct business in traditional fiat currency, for example, US dollars, and those who transmit money in fiat and cryptocurrency are still required to be licensed with the New Hampshire Banking Department. Please call us at 271-3561 if you have any questions. As a result of passage of House Bill 436, New Hampshire RSA 399G3 will also include language stating that cryptocurrency transactions will now be subject to the provision of RSA 358A, also known as the Consumer Protection Act. Consumers who believe they may have been harmed by a cryptocurrency transmitter should contact the Consumer Protection Bureau of New Hampshire Department of Justice. So that's a statement we've placed on our website.
Right. So if somebody's in the business of switching it between dollars,
yeah, or exchanging it,
sending
it,
like getting foreign money,
issuing it, right?
Like that, because they're still using some
the fiat component.
Fiat, then they are still being regulated.
Correct.
But that that anybody who is purely holding kryptonite, they're exempt from having to be regulated.
Yeah.
And I think we've got a lot of publicity out of it. It seemed like a lot of people.
Yes, we do have
a very positive
inquiries
response from doing that.
And we still have inquiries coming into the department, so that has not changed.
So how many licenses do you have in which people are doing also?
The current licensees we had prior are still our licensees
So they'll get 3 or 4, right?
3 or 4, yeah.
Right.
I believe there was one that came in under the wire. I didn't realize it. Right.
Right.
Yeah, and they have not surrendered their licenses or expired or anything. They're continuing.
Everybody's maintained. How much does it cost them to keep a license?
$500 for renewal.
Okay. So to all of them, it's worth the $500.
Well, yeah, I mean, to the extent that they're regulated.
So how much auditing are you doing with them?
Well, money transmitters, like almost all of our licensees are audited, and that's every 18 months.
Right. And when you audit, you're going to go through and cycle through their transactions. And look
so there's modules, right? There's modules. I don't handle the exams.
I'm not sure I know what a module is.
It's an examination module, almost like a flow chart, what they have to follow.
Okay.
You know, BSA, AML, all different types of things.
No.
Anti-money laundering statutes, Bank Secrecy Act statutes.
I know I've been doing the banking for not that long.
So there's federal and state components they look at through the module. It's just basically like an instruction page and what to look at, what to review.
Right.
Our examiners handle that.
Do you actually drill down into certain transactions?
They will, yes. Through a document request list, they'll identify certain transactions and go through the process of looking at the histories, right? And it's usually not targeted unless we have a concern about, a specific transaction, for example. so that we get an even-based sampling.
So, the $64,000 question, have you had any complaints against the licensees?
I will have to go back and look.
Okay.
Currently, I am legal party of one
Okay.
temporarily.
Oh.
So I will have to go back and look. I know we've had a lot of inquiries.
Right.
So that's.
But an inquiry can be all kinds of things.
Correct. But I'll have to go back and look. And I'm not sure.
But nothing's
I haven't checked with the agent's
nothing's
office.
caused you to do a spot audit or
That's,
something
like an
that.
unannounced audit? Not yet.
You've not had any official unannounced?
Not yet.
That's right. Okay.
No?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Anything cooking?
I can't discuss.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, we are still getting licensure inquiries. We're still getting inquiries across the board.
Have you had issued any new other than those three?
Well, as far as no action requests, we've received a lot. In terms of license applications, I don't believe received a direct application yet. There's some that may be cooking.
Yeah. But they're feeling their way through. They're trying to figure
They're feeling their way
see
through. We're looking at it.
Where we are, where we're stopping.
Correct.
and
We're
all
also
that.
looking at it. We're looking to see if it fits within our jurisdiction or not. And, you know, we're looking with that eye toward that exemption and our statement and that it's not an absolute
Right.
exemption.
Right.
You know, we look at it just like we've done before, which is to make sure that it fits within the law. And if it's not within our jurisdiction, we let them know, hey, you're fine. You don't need a license from us. Nothing has come up yet that has indicated that we need to then move them forward just yet through securities or SEC directly yet either.
Okay, so that hands now the baton to you. And anything in securities, anything going on?
I mean, nothing, no complaints certainly. Basically, the one thing we've looked at is we have a current application for a company that, an application for registration in New Hampshire of a company that is seeking to sell in the secondary market investments in, these investments are essentially like exchange-traded funds where when you buy a trust share in the company, you're essentially tracking an index. Like, I guess Bitcoin has its own index, or there are various indexes probably that, you know, similar to like S&P 500 and that sort of thing. So we're looking at it closely. It hasn't been approved yet, but of course, you know, these things are new to us, very complex, and we'll make sure that we have our head adequately wrapped around it. And otherwise, in the securities world, there was a report issued. And I get copies for the commission, or committee or commission. But it was an SEC report on an attempt at an investment process through a company called Stock.it. It was a German corporation, and they were trying to set up these kind of complex investments where you create essentially a corporation in blockchain technology, and all of the rules are in there, so people can kind of set these up. But there was also opportunities to invest a different cryptocurrency in it. What's Ethereum?
Ethereum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were trying not to construe it as an investment, but it acted just like an investment. You know, walk like a duck, talk like a duck type of thing. You know, you got rewards back in the form of more Ethereum, or I'm sorry, tokens that you could trade for Ethereum, which also have a value, just like any other cryptocurrency.
Right.
So essentially, it was looking just like a security, and that's what the SEC said. So, but other than that, we don't really get any inquiries. Most of this stuff is going to happen on the federal level in terms of securities. But we may start seeing more things like this Bitcoin investment opportunity, you know, where they're not directly investing in Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency, but they're investing in a way of basically securitizing them. So.
Oh, right. Okay. Right, because that's going to be real, the security's gotta be real.
Right. Yeah.
Huh, okay. Okay. So is there anything out there that you think the legislature should step in and get involved in?
Not from our perspective at this point, I don't think. No.
And for the banking department?
Go for it. I'll reserve that for our commissioner.
Okay, fair enough.
He's just down the hall.
Right.
I did see him, I thought he was
Yeah.
coming, I thought he was coming
He's
in
at
here.
State Bank. I thought he was.
Oh, he's doing state bank,
Yeah.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's bigger fish to fry.
Well, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission is very interested now in the virtual currencies, and they put out a CFTC primer on virtual currencies with what the risks are, etc. It's pretty
You ever wanted to know?
simple. Yeah, it's more of an outline than anything else right
Yeah.
now, but they're looking seriously at it.
Yep. That's not
Well, they
surprising
have
at all.
been.
Yeah.
About a year and a half to 2 years ago, they
Price
issued.
manipulation, blah, blah.
Yeah,
I'd love
they
to,
issued something
yeah,
about a year and
do you
a
have
half,
a
2
link
years
on that?
ago.
Just, can you email me the link on that?
Yeah. Lab CFTC. So, yeah, I'll send you a link
Yeah.
and look at
Or
it.
put it in, let's put it in, or we'll put it in the,
Send it to me too.
Yeah.
Sure.
I can get a copy of
yeah,
it.
yeah, just to read a primer, that'd be pretty entertaining.
Well, their position is that it's a commodity, but they don't really go into too much detail about
Right.
about
I
it.
couldn't find
Yeah.
it.
That's always
I
been their
couldn't tell.
position.
They couldn't
is that
truly
commodity.
justify, yeah, they just kind of
Right.
made a statement
Right,
and that was
right.
about it.
Right. And that's part of the argument, right?
Yeah.
That we had used to.
Yeah.
Representative Almy, do you have any
I'm
comments,
kind of
reflections?
Appendage on this group, since you know so much more about banking than I do.
Well, I don't know, but I don't know, how'd you get on here? Because you must do big.
Well, because
Your
I
numbers.
was defending a virtual currency bill in Ways and Means
Okay,
and
there
lost
was, you guys
badly.
did have a bill that was defining some stuff.
Yes, and I do feel anything that encourages the development of blockchain research in this state is good for our economy.
Yeah.
So, and it seemed harmless, but everybody else felt that we don't understand this, so we're going to get rid of it.
And it's always true that what this legislature, we don't understand it, we're not going to vote for it.
And they're right in most senses, except that we're all a lot of old fogies. Hello. I am at any rate. You're younger
I said
than I
it's
am.
always true, except for that one constitutional amendment we had, what, I don't know, it seemed like 20 years ago, was the, when we brought back our districts and changed our districts, and the paragraph was so convoluted, I said, I just don't believe the voters are going to vote for this. And as long as everybody was told, yeah, this was good, this is going to bring back the way we used to do things, everybody voted for it.
Was that the one that turned out not to work, right?
No, I don't know. That might be true. It didn't work, but it was a constitutional amendment, so nothing. We haven't changed it, so it must have been working. But I do, obviously, the repercussions were before when they struck down our redistricting and the governor vetoed it, and Gene vetoed it. Okay. Anybody in the public would like to say anything about what's going on in this technology?
I would actually. Ian Freeman from Keene, one of the active Bitcoiners around. Just kind of wanted to update y'all on some of the things I'd seen since the passage of the bill. I was actually on a website last night for a new company that has opened up in Portsmouth called AnyPay. And what they're doing is they're competing with a long-time merchant services provider in the Bitcoin space called BitPay. So sort of like you have credit card services, merchant services providers for businesses, there are also cryptocurrency versions of that they help businesses come on board with crypto, and they give them an app for like their tablet for the point of sale to help customers pay with Bitcoin at the point of sale. So we now have a new business, and they specifically cite on their website the bill that was passed this summer was what encouraged them to go ahead and create this business. So they actually called that out on their website, and they thanked the governor for signing it. So So that's
It wouldn't
one.
have been within our jurisdiction anyway.
No doubt, but
Yeah.
people don't know. You know,
Yeah.
they see the
That's what we love about misinformation.
Commercial payment processing is not considered
Right,
a
you wouldn't-
transmission.
it wouldn't
No,
be a
it wouldn't have been,
transmission. Right.
correct.
nonetheless, it
Yeah.
encouraged them to
That's great.
do it. And just I think it was just seeing that New Hampshire had stepped back from regulation was a good sign to them. Another instance in Portsmouth was Bruce Fenton, who was on the blockchain, I forget what it's called.
Blockchain Foundation or
Bitcoin Foundation. He's like a big money Bitcoin guy who moved physically from the Boston area to Portsmouth again. And he's, I guess, purchased a fairly large facility of some sort and has moved up his blockchain-related businesses. He's going to be throwing a blockchain conference in New Hampshire coming up in December. I'm not organizing a conference, so I can't give you all tickets, but I bet if you reached out to Bruce and said you wanted to attend, he'd probably welcome you.
As long as it's less than $25.
Right,
I think it's
exactly.
like, maybe it might be a couple $100, but he'll probably.
We should call it a blockchain party.
There you
There you
go.
go. I think there will be a party at the conference.
So we understand anything is.
Well, that's how you get started.
That's how we
But
learn.
remember,
chairman might be
blockchain
able
is
to
different than
get the
Bitcoin.
speaker to pay for his ticket.
So I just think that it's been a good,
Yeah.
I think it's been good publicity for New Hampshire as a destination for things Bitcoin, and hopefully we can keep going in that direction by abolishing all the money transmitter statutes as well while we're at it. Because there are some states that don't even have money transmitter regulations. I think
Oh,
South Carolina
oh,
is
yeah.
one of them. I don't
No.
know.
I would have thought the federal government
Nope.
would have frowned heavily on that.
I think there's like one,
I think
and
it's South
if that,
Carolina.
it's pretty much done anyway. Every state has money
I
transmitter
can't
laws.
imagine.
Yeah.
And that's
allowing
because of the
people to take
anti-money
other
laundering
people's money.
statutes,
Right. The federal
anti-terrorism.
ones.
Okay, so it's more broad-based,
worse than
it's
they
more
used to be,
worldwide
so.
protection
I'd be
than
very surprised.
simple state.
Well, I don't know. I haven't heard of much terrorism happening in South Carolina, so.
Well, it's anti-money laundering, it's anti-terrorism,
Right.
it's, it's
Yeah, but
basically
it's a way
trying to
get around the
prevent.
$10,000 deposit rule.
Correct,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's why we have money transmitter laws to begin with, is to,
Speaker Hegstrom.
It's legitimate.
yeah, it's legitimate purpose. So, and it's worldwide purpose, it's not really a statewide purpose, it's worldwide. So
I know
that's
all
why
the
we have-
reasons. I know all the reasons why, but it also gets in the way of people who want to do business and not have government breathing down their neck for
That's
every-
why they choose.
Right.
So anyway, I think
Nothing wrong with that.
Various characters.
Live nefarious. Yeah, live
Nefarious. Good word.
it certainly hasn't stopped drug dealing and it hasn't stopped
Still another
terrorism.
bill
So.
is that nefarious.
You never
Yeah,
can tell what
nefarious
it would have been
proposition.
without
Yeah.
it.
No, you can't.
And
Nefarious.
we've done pretty well on
It just
terrorism,
encourages
privacy
nefarious
bill.
characters.
Okay.
Biometrics.
given what's going on everywhere else.
Nefarious activities.
Activities and characters.
Nefarious activities.
So that's all. I just wanted to share a couple of good
Well, I'm
pieces of
glad-
good news for you.
I think that,
Thank you.
in the end result, it was a good thing that we did, way we did it. That way we got all this great publicity.
Mhm.
We probably wouldn't have gotten it if we had, if we had done it in 666. But because we did it this way, we got all that publicity and now it makes us, look like we're a pioneer. But,
Anyway, thanks for listening.
yeah, thank you for sharing. Anybody else?
I do have a question for you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
I noticed that the crypto appointee, or the governor's appointee
Yeah.
representing the crypto community, was one not appointed this year, or did he just not show
Jerry
up?
Kaufman,
Jerry Kaufman, yeah.
it's on the website.
I thought he was, I don't know what happened to the notification, but so I will find out why he's not here. 'Cause,
Maybe.
'cause
Okay.
he I would have wanted him to be here, to hear what he had to say. So,
Yeah, I thought we'd have a longer meeting than this, because he'd be here and need to be filled in,
I have to cut
or
his
fill
feet.
us in.
Right, or he can fill us. But- Okay, that's it?
Where do we go from here?
All right, so, this committee has met and we will file a report.
It says we see no need to do any.
And unless there's anything that, brings, our attention, is there any LSRs? Do we have any?
I don't believe so.
I don't
I don't think we have any
LSRs.
LSRs. A
So-
lot of our stuff is an omnibus statute and a couple of other banking stuff. More
Yeah,
cleanup than substance. I don't believe any are, yeah, there, I don't remember any being from 399G.
So-
Offhand, I don't remember.
Nothing that I.
So we won't have anything, I'll do this a year from now. We'll have this meeting where we have to file our report.
Yeah.
And so we just have a chance to look at it. And if I do hear of something
Yeah.
going on, then I'll
Sure.
call it sooner rather than later.
And we'll let the committee know if there's anything that's come
Yeah,
up in the
yeah,
interim.
right.
Yeah.
So is the substance of the report that the committee discussed state of cryptocurrency in New Hampshire and so no need to file
Banking
legislation
and securities and
This
and
year.
the public and.
this year?
This year.
Short of an emergency.
Okay.
So with the call of the chair, that,
Right.
if there's something comes up.
Right.
Yeah, you're writing the report, huh? I think
I'm
I
getting
get
that
stuck
feeling.
writing the report.
She writes really good.
Aw.
Real good.
She's really
After I
writes
get
good.
finished writing the minutes.
He's been Trump speak.
Yeah, right.
Bailey.
Oh,
Yesterday,
yeah.
so I'm stuck writing the minutes.
That's what I did to her. I did that in Bailey.
Minutes of dead-
It's a
Yeah,
person
it's a
special
lot.
in the morning. We're like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that.
2 years.
But we haven't been around for a while, so we're.
That's true.
And I am dyslexic, so I can screw up a lot of
Where'd
things.
they all come
Yeah.
from?
You are.
Watching too much news.
Okay,
Yeah.
I guess if we have nothing else, we're adjourned.
We-
All right, very
Yes,
good.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's good to see you. Likewise.
We'd like to invite you to visit freekeen.com. Freekeen.com features audio, video, and blogs chronicling the transition to a voluntary society. Freekeen.com also has comments and discussion forums so you can be heard. Freekeen.com.
I should be in Keene, New Hampshire with the Free Staters.